That's right.
Have you ever been an injury attorney? You've had every other job in America.
Do I look like an ambulance chaser?
Don't be mean. We are Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. Visit progressive.com. By the way, I heard from people yesterday on the Matilda thing.
So did I. Go on.
Multiple people are like, why is it a bad job that you haven't seen Matilda? It's not that big.
Why are you hating on Matilda, though?
That's what it is.
Hate on it.
Well, you're like, I'm not interested in seeing it. Like, you're just not interested in seeing anything that Smalls recommends. You watch.
We don't have the same taste in a lot of things.
Yeah, I like great things, and you like other stuff. Matilda, no. Sopranos, no. Ken Burns, American Revolution, excellent. Hard no from Evan Cohen.
But DWP2 we're both in on.
What's that?
Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, so in.
DWP2.
Unless it's bad, and then I'm going to be really upset.
We should rent that at theater. Is that expensive?
You're setting yourself up to be disappointed.
You think?
Yeah.
But
I have high expectations as well for that movie, but like I know it's not going to live up to what the first one was.
But can I tell you what I say to myself anytime my brain goes there that maybe I am setting myself up for failure?
What's that?
Do we think the legendary Meryl Streep would sign on to do a reboot of an iconic film if the script was not A+? Meryl doesn't need the work, okay? She's an icon.
Anne Hathaway, too. She's unbelievable.
Anne Hathaway is amazing, too. But Meryl Streep...
No, I understand.
On the Mount Rushmore.
And...
she's not going to just take it to take it. She doesn't need to just cash a check. She's not Kevin Hart in it, okay?
What
was that, dude?
That was nasty.
No, it's a running joke with him and The Rock that he just will sign up for a bunch of different things.
The Rock can make that joke. I don't know that you can.
Well, if he put it out there about himself, I'm going to make the joke too.
Also, I was just, for the record, that wasn't me. That was Cam Pratt. Like, he was the one that was being negative there.
We don't think Meryl Streep would just take the movie to make some money and make some fans happy. Like, that does not mean that it's going to be an all-time sequel.
You don't know Meryl.
On the Live Tour?
I don't think you know Meryl either.
That's true, too.
Not personally. I would love to. But, Meryl, if you're a fan of the show, please call in at any time. I'm just saying with...
Can you imagine if she actually did?
If like Meryl Streep
that would be great. If we had Meryl Streep on the show, that would be phenomenal.
Do you think we would believe it was her, though, if she called in? She was like, hello, Nuno. It's me, Meryl.
Is this Nuno DeVito?
The thought of Nuno and Meryl Streep on the phone with one another kills
That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
Conceptually, you are right. Meryl Streep, Annie Hathaway, and Emily Blunt.
Stanley Tucci.
And Emily Blunt, they're not signing up.
My man Stanley Tucci is gallivanting throughout Italy, making beautiful dishes and entertaining the world.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to sign on to this just to do it.
How can we get one of them to come on and promote the movie?
Which one would we want the most? I love them all, but I think
Hathaway.
Hathaway?
I think I'm going Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, Stanley Tucci.
And then we'll ask him to go to dinner.
Now, maybe I shouldn't say this.
Stanley Tucci, yeah.
Love Stanley Tucci.
I'm going to put some pressure on myself.
What's up?
Hathaway's husband did go to my school.
High school?
But he moved. And I used to know his family, like he and his sister, a tiny bit. So maybe there's a way for me to get there.
Did he go to any of your high school football games?
Yeah.
There's a chance.
Well, if he did, then it probably means that we don't have a chance to get him on the show.
Yeah, is he a sports fan?
Yeah, I was about to say, why would I go on the show with that guy that threw 8 interceptions in that game at Nyack?
Worst football game I've ever seen. Still have nightmares about it.
So I tried to offer a solution to a problem, and I became the problem? That's unbelievable.
Are you going to try?
No, not after this. No,
I'll DM Stanley Tucci right now.
Do what?
Yeah.
I'll DM Stanley Tucci right now.
Does he follow you?
No, but that doesn't mean I won't DM him.
But
this is what my producer roots. You just gotta throw out the ass.
Exactly.
But you can do that?
Yes.
Like if people don't follow you, you can still
on
DM them?
certain social media apparatuses, you can.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, like yesterday when we talked about the name of my group chat, I tagged Candace Dillard Bassett from The Real Housewives
You
of
could
Potomac.
tag them, but not DM them. Did you DM her?
But when you tag someone, it goes to their DMs. And she responded. She loved it.
Really?
She loved it. She loved it.
Wow. Good
so
job
this is what I'm saying. I'll shoot old
If there
Stanley
was one
Tucci a
person on
DM.
our show that'd be able to make it happen, it would be Michelle Smallman. No question about it.
Okay, so we need to power rank our asks here.
For me,
I would say Stanley Tucci.
Tucci 1.
I would go Streep 2nd.
Streep 2, I'm with you. I know
Emily
people,
Blunt
I would
is
actually,
great.
I would actually go Emily Blunt 3rd and then Hathaway 4th.
She may be, but Emily Blunt may actually be the best interview. I've heard her interviewed. She's awesome in interviews.
I know people that live near her.
Okay.
Let me see if I can make that work.
Okay.
Okay, so that's our powers. Tucci, Streep, Blunt, Hathaway.
No, I put Hathaway 1.
Well, we
But you work on Hathaway 1.
we have the
I'm talking about
majority.
my power
We have the
ratings
majority.
for the ass.
Yeah, exactly.
And Adrian Grenier's not in the movie, right? He didn't make it to
After his character in Devil Wears Prada 1, I certainly hope not. He was a real bummer.
All right.
Speaking of Devil Wears Prada.
How is
The
it?
Devil Wears Lucchese.
Exactly.
Let's see how you're gonna connect that. Go ahead.
Exactly.
How would that connect to the NFL free agency? That's interesting. Where it is free agency for 31 teams, but it's the Super Bowl for another team,
It's the Dallas Cowboys.
and it's Super Bowl for
Jerry
them.
Jones.
What are they doing right now? Are they acting like it's their Super Bowl?
No, where's the drama? Where's the tension? Where's the headline?
What happened to George Pickens? Where's his contract? Osa Digizua, they trade. He was the one guy they actually signed early. They probably were like, yeah, you know what? This doesn't feel right. We signed him early on a good deal. Let's get him out of here. Now, I know it's because Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams got there after the fact, and defense is different now in terms of a 3-4 versus a 4-3.
Exactly. That's the biggest
Of
difference.
course.
If
There's,
you're
like,
going to
real
an
stuff.
odd man front, you need bigger guys, and Osa Digizua is not a big guy.
So are they winning the Super Bowl right now? Are they not in the Super Bowl? Are they just like everybody else? Are they fooling us? Are they actually a well-run team? What's happening?
I feel like they're well-run. They're reallocating resources. This is a player that doesn't fit the scheme that we want to go with, so we're going to trade him out, get a bigger body up front, and that's exactly what they did in free agency. And now we're go about the business of retooling this thing and trying to figure out how we can get George Pickens under contract to lower the cap numbers so it gives us more flexibility to do other things. I don't have an issue with what the Dallas Cowboys did this past week. I thought they've made smart moves. They've been deliberate. But there's clearly more work that needs to be done. They need more pressure players on the edges. They need more help on the back end. I mean, you'd like to see them get the George Pickens deal done so there's no drama with one of your better players on the team going into training camp like there was last year. The Dallas Cowboys are teeing this thing up to have a quiet yet productive offseason. And so I'm willing to say that they're doing the things that they need to do to take a leap as a team in 2026.
I just wrote down some of the words that you just said.
Yep.
Smart, deliberate, quiet, productive. So this is a failure for the Dallas Cowboys. If their mission is to stir it up, if their mission is to win the Super Bowl in the offseason, quiet, productive, smart, and deliberate does not satisfy that. But maybe they're sick of that. Maybe they are turning the page. Maybe they are focusing on football and not on the entertainment.
The smart part is hard for me on this, just because of how much I see from Packers fans from my time in Wisconsin, following all these people, listening to ESPN Wisconsin, et cetera, and being guests with Wilde and Tausch and other shows. Like, they thought Rashawn Gary was just going to get cut. They cannot believe that they got a 4th-round pick for him. Now, you could sit there and say, and I used CeCe's argument the other day when I was on with them at ESPN Wisconsin, because I said CeCe thought it was a good move by the Cowboys. And they said, why? I said, well, he usually associates $2 million per sack. So if you're making $18 million a year and you have a guy that actually gets you 10 sacks, he's actually exceeded the value of the contract. That's asking a lot of a guy who hasn't produced like that. So he would have been cut. And let's say there's another team out there that could have potentially traded for him. I don't know that anyone would have given up a 4th-round pick for Rashawn Gary. So there are some moves. Osia Digizua, I never heard of him, honestly, before.
Really good player.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is before CeCe hyped him up. And I understand defensively they're not playing the same system. But what you said was immediately when that happened, great move by San Francisco. So the smart part is hard for me because they acquired a guy for a price tag that per all reports, they didn't need to give, and they traded a guy, per you, that in a different system, I understand, is a really good player. And they could have signed the guy that they took a flyer on in George Pickens early, like the Jaguars did with Jacoby Myers, and they didn't do that. There's still those moments for me where I say, how smart are they? Their drafting, I know, has always been good. They always prioritize the offensive line, which I very much appreciate because they want Dak to be standing there and not getting his butt kicked every game.
Yep.
I just think there are moves where already I question, did you have to do it this way? I don't think they've been as smart as maybe we're giving them credit for.
Well, what did you want them to go out there and do?
Okay, so let's talk about this. Pickens, sign early. We're all in agreement on that.
Yeah, but you didn't get it done before the end of the season, so now you have to try to be smart about it in the expensive part of free agency, there was going to be a lot of pressure on them. They took the pressure off by franchise tagging them.
Okay. Again, not what I would have done, but that's because I would have let him walk at that point. I would have had no choice, in my opinion, because I can't pay 2 wide receivers that kind of money. For me. I understand other teams are successful at it, right? Philadelphia Eagles are very successful at it. There are some teams that have done a great job. Seattle now has JSN, have Cooper Kupp, has Rashid Shaheed. Like, they've been successful at it. I get it. Cowboys have not been, in my opinion. Okay?
Okay.
Osa Digizua, I would have to ask you, can he do anything else? Or is the system so bad for him, not a bad system, but it's so much not a fit for him that he couldn't have played there anymore?
Well, he's 6'2", 290 pounds in an odd front defense where you're down 3, you're going to get constant double teams. Not ideal. He's a get up the field, 3 technique, in a 4-down look.
And okay, so then maybe that's the one you have to do.
He doesn't fit their scheme.
Gary, I would not have done. I would not have done that for that price. I would have if I couldn't get him on the open market, I would have moved on to the next guy.
Well,
By the way, they did just make a move literally moments ago. The Dallas Cowboys have signed former Rams cornerback Kobe Durant to an agreement on a 1-year deal up to worth $5.5 million per Shefty.
Smart deal.
So, I mean, they've made additions. You're going to say
that's a smart deal. Jalen Thompson, bringing him over from Arizona, smart deal. Those are smart deals. Like, they're not household names, but they're guys that can contribute. They're guys that can provide depth. They're guys that, when you put them out there on defense, aren't going to be liabilities, but they do need to add more difference makers on that unit.
So the roster they've put together so far, obviously free agency not near complete. The roster they've put together so far would lead you to predict on March 13th, not holding either of you to this, the Dallas Cowboys will finish in what place in the division?
Right now, I'm willing to say they're probably looking at second place in that division.
That's where I was going to go
Philly.
to. Yeah. Behind Philly.
So Philly, Dallas.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Philly. I don't know what's going on with them from a chemistry standpoint. The Giants, the Commanders, there are a lot of wild cards in that division. I would say this, like, this is going to sound really weird. I'm more comfortable with the floor for the Dallas Cowboys than I am for any other team in the NFC East.
Even Philly.
Even Philly. I'm more comfortable with the floor for the Dallas Cowboys.
I need to ask you why on that. We'll do that coming up. We're on Sportsmanlike here on ESPN Radio. We are presented by Progressive Insurance, and obviously job openings left and right in the NFL. And